But Illinois farmers say, hold on a sec. This summer's drought has been a perfect storm of trouble, as 70% of Illinois corn is short on water. Now, even though the city has yet to approve money, volunteers will slide on over later this month to start construction. You might not be able to take the train all the way to Chicago or St. Louis this summer, but when construction is done, you'll be riding the rail more than 100 miles per hour. In fact, by 2016, pension spending could dwarf education spending if lawmakers fail to act on a deal next week. The state fair is filled with hot treats and hot rides, but the #1 goal is to keep people cool and hydrated.
Our community wants to know what happened to Troy Logsdon.
Logsdon was a loving husband, doting father of 3, owner of this successful sand and gravel business in Beardstown.
He did a lot of things for a lot of people.
November 24th, 2010. Logsdon went to this bar. Around 11:45, he and his wife Sandra left together. Despite hundreds of interviews,
you know, it was the night before Thanksgiving. You would think somebody would have been around to hear something, see something.
Not one person remembers seeing Logsdon actually leave the parking lot. 45 minutes later, less than 12 blocks away, his body discovered halfway in a ditch.
To just believe something is one thing. To know something is another.
Cass County Coroner Wyatt Sager was a close friend of Logsdon's. He asked Illinois State Police to help with the investigation.
It's the lack of physical evidence from time to time that has hampered things.
The autopsy, though, couldn't be clearer. Not natural or an accident, Logsdon died from blunt force trauma to the head.
He was murdered.
Before Troy Logsdon died, he, along with his family, lived here. Everyone, including his wife Sandra, has now moved away. We couldn't reach her, but Sager believes she holds the missing piece to this puzzle.
I see that empty place that can't be filled. It can't be filled regardless, but it could be healed if someone out there would just come forward and tell us what happened.
It's not a cold case right now. It's still, you know, very warm case to us.
As for those close to Logsdon, well, they're left struggling with regrets, unanswered questions, and heavy hearts.
If I could tell Troy one thing, sorry. I would just tell him I was really sorry. I would tell him I was sorry that I didn't do more before this ever happened.
In Beardstown, Chris Slaby, ABC News Channel 20. It's a game of numbers for Lake Springfield. High temperatures means more evaporation. The lake is nearly 3 feet below full pool, a level usually not reached until fall.
It isn't until we face this kind of natural disaster that we realize that lake that we sometimes admire as we drive by is a critical resource for our standard of living.
The problem isn't helped by high water usage. City Water, Light, and Power puts out about 29 million gallons of water a day, but people are using 35 million gallons a day.
You know, the first year of the drought is somewhat manageable. You know, the lake continues to drop, but if we get normal precipitation during the winter and spring of next year, our lake should recover. You know, it's when it's a multi-year drought is when we have great concerns.
But Illinois farmers say, hold on a sec. This summer's drought has been a perfect storm of trouble, as 70% of Illinois corn is short on water.
There's a likelihood that it'll affect the entire food chain and cycle in a way that you know, we may see the impact for a couple of years to come.
So far, the USDA has declared 98 of Illinois' 102 counties disaster areas. The current farm bill, which regulates how affected farmers receive insurance for damaged crops, expires September 30th. Senator Durbin says it is vital for Congress to pass a new version before the November election.
At the end of the day, less production off of our farmland and higher cost for the products coming off those acres, whether it's corn or soybeans, which leads to a higher cost in food prices.
In Springfield, Chris Slaby, ABC News Channel 20. When trains go through Eureka, traffic stops, giving volunteers from the local Elk Lodge a chance to help residents of tornado-ravaged Joplin, whether through a spare chains collection.
The plan is when that train comes through and those gates go down, I'll get down there and work my way back up the street.
Or donations of material goods.
Well, we got a great amount of clothing here.
Ashley Moore organized the Sunday afternoon grassroots effort after watching a YouTube video of Joplin residents enduring the devastating tornado. Set up at the intersection of West First and North Central, preferred goods include non-perishable food and hygiene products.
Well, doesn't seem to want to zip it. There it is.
Clothes and toys for kids.
It is heartwarming to see the citizens of Eureka and the surrounding counties come out in such great force to donate, and we've raised tons of money already, more than I could ever imagine.
Now, this isn't the only grassroots effort to have sprung up in our region. This is the first weekend after the Joplin tornado.
I hope it gets a lot more busier than this.
On Bobolink Drive in Florissant, Katie Diger and her cousin set up a lemonade stand to raise money for the United Way. Their goal is to raise $100, but they'll need some more customers to reach that figure. Whether it's reached or not, Katie says all that matters is helping the people of Joplin.
I care about them a lot because I feel bad for them. They don't have like a safe place to stay at.
They have nothing, so we want to give them everything back that they lost.
In Eureka, Chris Slaby,
Make the girls busy and raise a bunch of money.
News Channel 5.